Right, hello. It's about, I don't know what time it is actually, to be honest with you, sometime between 8:30 and 9:30. It's a beautiful morning. There is some cloud in the sky. It's clearing. There was quite a lot of mist, a little bit of rain overnight. That's passing. The weather forecast, touch wood it can be trusted, is that it starts off slow and builds, and it builds up to about 9 o'clock at night. I've taken it, well no, I've taken, yeah, about 23 knots from about 8 o'clock at night this evening. I've got 27 miles to go. It builds steadily throughout the day. It builds steadily throughout the day, apparently. So I'm actually going against the tide now, because the high tide isn't until 15:30 or something. So that would just not leave enough time. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to sail or motor sail in the general direction of where I want to go, and at whatever speed. And then at 15:30 I'm thinking that the wind speed would have built up a little bit, and we may be getting sort of between 12 and 18 knots, like we were the other day basically, and I should be able to romp in the last few, you know, the last half would take only like a quarter of the time. So so that's kind of my plan. It's not the greatest of plans, but the other option is to wait until 15:30 to leave, but you're definitely not going to arrive until completely, you know, it'll be completely dark, like I did here, but that wasn't intentional. So so that's what I'm going to do. Amazingly, I'm back in Cedeira. I got out of Cedeira, got out to the entrance. Takes about an hour to motor out past the rocks. I went to put the mainsail up, and the fucking halyard is caught around the radar reflector. And I cannot loosen it. I've messed around. I've put a rope around it and tried to put it around the forestay and try and pull it off like that, and that's not having it. And now it's just a mess up there now, and now I've got to sort all that out. And so basically the whole thing has gone tits up. That's just the third trip in a row when it's not gone well. So I'm hoping that that's it, but unfortunately the problem is that today has turned out to be perfect weather. For the first time, I think I've had 2 days. One day when I was coming across Biscay, and I think I had one reasonable day coming down the coast, and then this is the next. All the other days have been spang into the wind and pretty rubbish really for getting anywhere. Today is a perfect day for getting some distance done, and the fucking mainsail halyard is caught around that fucking radar reflector and I can't budge it. So an hour to motor out, an hour to an hour and a half messing around at sea trying to do this, another hour coming in. I've lost the morning. I've lost the whole bloody morning now. And instead of the, like I said, instead of the very low winds, 4 and 6 knots, it's actually 8, 9, 10 knots out there, and that would have been absolutely perfect. And it's a sunny day, and we would have made Corunna no problem whatsoever, because the wind is not quite as predicted, but it's better in fact, because it's actually on the beam. So we would have run down to Corunna with the wind on the beam all the bloody way. I'm absolutely gutted, right? So I'm gonna sort this out and see what time it is then, whether it's worth trying again. Right, I have sorted it out. It's like every single rope I've got that goes up the mast gets wrapped around that radar reflector, I have got a bit of a problem with that. I've got to take a bit more notice of that, because I would have had a problem if I'd have wanted to put the Genoa up. That would have been a problem. If I want to use the pole to pole out the Genoa, well, not the Genoa, the cruising chute, that would have been a problem, and then I'd be messing around. So I think I've got to, that's got to be one of the checks I do before I set off, is to identify what's become wrapped around the radar reflector and unwrap it before I go out. So what an utter pain in the ass. It's now 12:30. I think I set off at 9:30 and I'm back where I started. So, however, I'm starving now, so I'm going to have a cup of tea, and I've put some tin or something on to cook because I'm starving now. I don't want to eat the sandwiches. I'll save the sandwiches for later on, just in case it does turn out to be a load more fucking shit goes wrong and I don't turn up till 4 in the morning. So I'm gonna have a cup of tea, eat that tin of cassoulet, and have another go. Alright, so I've got out to sea, and I've been having a really good sail down here. I've got both of the sails on the port side. The wind is coming more from the north than the east. It was predicted to come from the east, and it's coming more from dead north. But that has allowed me to carry both of the sails on one side, coming down this coast, and which has worked out really good. We're coming up on this point here, which I can't remember the name of. Pointo, I don't know. Maybe actually, I can't remember. But basically, when we go around that point, we've got to head basically, well, just carry on following the coast basically. But we're going to point more. We're currently pointing southwest. We're going to be pointing more to the south, not entirely south, but more to the southwest, really. And I will no longer be able to carry both the sails on one side. So if the wind does not shift, it sometimes does shift in its position as you go around a foreland or something. So we'll see what happens. But if the wind doesn't shift, then I'm going to have to goose wing down here or lose one of the sails. The alarm actually has just gone off. So there is a ship somewhere out behind me, 3.5 miles out behind me, moving at 8 knots in my general direction. He's coming in to clear this point as well. But unusually, I cannot see him. Usually you can see these big ships, so maybe he's not very big. But he's just moving in my direction at 8 knots. So I'm going to keep an eye out for him. Yeah. Anyway, so far so good. It's an absolutely glorious day. Absolutely glorious. Once I turn this corner, I've got a 7-mile run down the coast before I start the entrance into, I'm going to call it Corunna, La Corunna, but in actual fact there's Ferrol, there's Ariel, Aris, and there's Corunna. So there's like 3 Rias in this like very large sort of harbour area. So I'm going to aim, once I get to the entrance, so the main entrance to all 3 of them, that's about 7 or 8 miles from this point here, but there's probably another 7 or 8 miles into the Rias to get until I get to the marina. So probably about another 15 miles. But I suppose I've just done 12, so you could say this nearest damn it halfway point when I round this. I'll probably be rounding that in about half an hour. So that's not too bad really. Finally, actually heading towards Corunna. I've got the rig. I've set the rig up wing on wing. So I've got the mainsail out, and I've got a preventer on the mainsail there, and then I've got the Genoa. I'm pointing straight into the sun, unfortunately, but I've got the Genoa there, and on the pole, and on the other side. So effectively this should be something similar to a trade-winged downwind rig for crossing the Atlantic, although I doubt very much I'd have the whole sails out. I'd have them reefed, at least one or possibly two reefs in the mainsail and maybe half the Genoa. And we're just going past this rather majestic pile of rock here, actually looking rather splendid as well. Right, so I'm just coming in now. To not exactly Corunna, but this is the entrance to Ferrol, Brexinat and Corunna. So the three Rias, there's three Rias here. I'm just passing the entrance to Ferrol, which is on my port hand side there. There's a bloody great wall, which would be the simplest one to go to, well, the quickest one to go to. But I seem to have managed to get myself on a course that's taking me straight to the Marina Sada. So I'm kind of going to just sit on this course at the moment. So over on my starboard side is the Tower of Hercules, but you can't really see it very well. Well, I'll show you in a sec. And on my port hand side there is just a constant, and I mean constant, stream of fishing vessels going out, one after the other. Over there in the distance is the Tower of Hercules. That's it there, but it's like in the mist. Can't really see it very well. And this is Ferrol behind that wall, and we've just got loads and loads of these fishing boats coming out in and out like this. There's another one there in front of me. Right, so the problem I'm having is at the moment, it's been an absolutely brilliant day, but the apart from, like, we had that issue at the beginning with the halyard, and now I've got all the way down here, and literally just as I turned to come in, the wind has started to pick up, and we're starting to hit, well, currently now we're back down to about 15 knots, which is good, but that's just because I've come in to the shelter of the Ria itself. Out the other side of the Ria entrance, or that cape there behind me, it's blowing about 20 knots, 18, and then gusted up to 20, and then back down to 18. So so I've just made it into this Ria by the skin of my teeth before we started getting the lumpy weather. Right, just to give you an idea of how busy this fucking place is. Here's the chart plotter. All the red ones are all the stuff that might hit me. I'm in the middle there. There's me. And this is all the fishing boats coming out of Corunna. Oh my god, and that purple line is where I'm going. Right, morning everyone. And a particularly fine and wonderful morning it is too. Oh, that's better. I came in last night and I anchored out here, outside of the marina. There's the marina behind me there. So I'm just outside the wall. but protected by this northern mole there. I set the anchor alarm because the hold in here is not supposed to be too good because of weed on the bottom, so we will see. But the alarm didn't go off last night. I've checked the thing. I think we've swung about 20 foot around, so that means the chain hasn't really budged at all. And eyeing up from where I was last night, I'm pretty much exactly where I was. So it is a stunningly beautiful morning. I've had breakfast, I've had coffee, and now I'm just going to organise myself and phone up the marina and to get a berth and just go into the marina for a few days. This will be the first time since I arrived in Spain that I've been into a marina, so that's not too bad at all. I'm hoping just to make this a couple of days and then off again. But at this point here, where I am here now, I'm about halfway around Spain, basically. From Navia, where I made landfall, to here is around about 100 miles, I think. And then it looks on the map, I haven't measured it, but it looks on the map that I've got about another 120 miles of coast to do before I get to the Portuguese border. So I'm in the marina in Sada. I phoned the guy up on the website number. He did speak very little English, but basically understood. He's kind of like my Spanish. I could say things, but don't understand anything that's said back to me. So yeah. So I've just come in and picked up a visitor's berth here, where it says on the chart. Although the pontoon that I picked up is enormous, absolutely enormous. It's well, there's a 45 footer next to me. So okay. So they might want me to move, unless they're all like that. On the other hand, I'm only staying a few days, and half of these berths are free. They're not taken, so that's another thing. So you don't know. So I'm going to get my stuff together and trot off up to the marina office, which is over there. And after I've had a look at the book of words and to see what I need to say, and organise to stay for a few days. I'm going to take my shower kit with me so I can have a shower, which is the first proper shower for oh my god, over a week. I've been to the marina office. They're extremely friendly. It's much easier to talk to the guy face to face and get through with pointing gestures and a bit of Spanish and a bit of English, and everything's done. They actually do want quite a lot of information from you. They want your insurance document number, the ship's registration number, passport number, and all of these things, which seems a bit more than I seem to have ever done before, but never mind, such is life. And there's two forms to fill out. One is for I think it might be for the police, I'm not sure, but anyway, it's all very friendly. So I'm going to nip back into the office now and take the passport and all that gubbins in as well, because I didn't have any of that with me, and fill in the blanks on the forms. So the marina itself is an amazing €11.95 a night, including tax. Now this is the first marina since La Rochelle that I've been in to, and this is the first marina in Spain, and I'll show it you now in a sec. And it's big and it's modern, and €11.95. This is like half price. This is basically half the price of France. Benaudet was €24, La Rochelle was €24 a night, €11.95, and if anything, the facilities are as good, if not better. And then this is the marina. That's the pontoon I'm on. I'm right on the end, in amongst all these big 45 and 50 foot boats. Is my little 30 footer. But then the marina itself, as you can see, is honking. Big place. And then down in that corner there is the marina offices. There with the laundrette and the showers and what have you. And it's a 5-minute walk. I think it's 10 minute walk to the supermarket, which I'm going to shoot off to now.